just want to ask you about female boxing. So how do you think it's changed since when you started boxing, and what did you think of female boxing back then, and what are your opinions of it now?
I wasn't a fan of female boxing at first. I mean, solely because I didn't quite like the idea. Ladies can play football, ladies can play tennis. I wasn't keen on the idea of ladies punching each other, blood all over their faces and all of that. So I wasn't a fan of it. But I mean, I totally missed the point that, as well as men, ladies deserve to, if they've got something that they're passionate about and they want to, fulfill their dreams. You know what I mean? There's no reason why they should be allowed not to go and do that. Just like the men. And I think I've warmed to ladies boxing, and to be honest, it's not been hard, has it? Because I mean, for what it was like when it first started, to the standard today, is absolutely exceptional. Unbelievable. Some of the fights, and the quality and the standard is huge. You know what I mean? And to think this show, tonight, Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields, and even the co-main event, the world title fight, 50-50 fights, and all ladies card. It's it's a historical night for boxing, and that's why I come down from Manchester. But no, I wasn't a fan before, but the women deserve as much as the men to, if they've got a goal and a dream, and something that they're passionate about, they should be allowed to go for them dreams and fulfill them dreams, just like the men. And that's what they're doing now. So I've certainly warmed to it. Yeah.
Can you give us an update on Campbell's training, and how much influence do you have on his training at the moment and his direction in his career?
Well, I manage him, so I have all the direction. If you like, my brother Matthew trains him and doing a very good job in the gym. And needless to say, I'm only down the road. You know what I mean? Matthew would phone me up if to pick my brains about the next opponent we've got, and he'll pick my brains about what he did right in the last fight, what he did wrong in the last fight. Because me and Matthew's been there and done it. So I have a lot to do with his with his career, probably more than most. You know what I mean? But Matthew's the job in the gym. He's doing a really good job. He knows where I am if he needs me. And Campbell, Campbell will always phone me up and come round to the house. What do you think about that the other night, Dad? Or I sparred today, Dad, and I wasn't quite getting this off. Why is that? He's got the best of both worlds, hasn't he? He's a very lucky man. But his training's going really well. I'll be sparring with him next week. He's fighting in Abu Dhabi on November the 5th. So that's an exciting card for him. Then he can get his backside back and cheer his daddy on. So the week after. So he's in a good place, Campbell, at the minute.
What do you make of these fights being made abroad? Obviously, there's a lot of money to be made and things, but a lot of the fans can't make it over there. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, if it's going to be for an odd time, you know what I mean. The fight fans would say, listen, we can't go over there and that. But I mean, I think any fight fan would say, if you was in their shoes and you was in the right foot and you got a chance to make a good few quid, you know what I mean, would you go over there? I think most fans would say, if I was in the position, I'd probably do the same. But ultimately the fans can't go over there. So I mean, if you're doing it every 5 minutes or every fight, then no, I think that would. I think you're going to lose a lot of fans by doing that. But I think the odd one here and there, I think you can't blame them. At the end of the day, people are there. It's the hardest game in the world. You're there. You provide for your family and your kids and stuff like that. And if you go over there and you earn a few more quid, do it. But if it starts becoming a regular occurrence and everything like that, you've got to get the fine balance between the money and the glory and the money and the fans. You know what I mean? It's all got to be one love, I guess.
Yeah, boxing's quite unique in that the schedule is up and down. Things can get postponed. Like for example, the fight tonight got postponed. The Eubank Ben fight got postponed, and it affects a lot of people.
Fight got postponed.
Your fight got postponed. Yeah, exactly. How hard is it for fighters to deal with the changing of schedules? And it seems like their schedule, their paycheck, is not really in their hands.
It's very hard. It's hard for the lads in the main event because obviously even Conor, who was the one that failed the drug test, but he's in the process of clearing his name, and I'm sure he will. but it's hard for the lads in the main event. But it's also it's probably even harder for the lads, for the people that are on the undercard. I mean, the lads in the main event or the ladies in the main event. If they're top of the bill or they're fighting for a world title or something like that, they've obviously got a few quid in the pocket. But sometimes it's people on the undercard, that have, paid for a training camp, where you pay for your food and you paid for your petrol and you paid for your sparring partners and you paid out for this, and then come fight night you get it back, or get it back and a bit more, hopefully. But yeah, there'll be fighters there that have bought out for the training camp. Fights got postponed, and then they don't know when the next fight's going to be. They're not getting paid on the night, so they've forked out for the training camp, and they've not been reimbursed like they normally would have done, and then they don't know when the next date's going to come up. That must be heartbreaking for someone. I remember there was one lad on the Ben Eubank Bill. He was sat outside his room crying, and I said, "You all right, mate? You okay? You all right?" He went, "Oh, I'm gutted." He said, I said, "I'm in debt. I owe a few. I'm overdrawn." He said, "And this fight was going to clear that, and I've got another one in 4 weeks." He said, "Which was going to pay for me kids and for Christmas and everything like that. And I don't know what I'm going to do now." And I thought, Jesus, I'm so sorry, mate. Things will work out, and you don't realise that side of it, do you? When when it gets postponed, but. We're having a bit of a bad run of postponements and things going wrong at boxing at the minute. It can't last forever, so that's the good thing.
They're all quite rare instances, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you think that the Eubank Ben fight should have been postponed? Should it have been pulled earlier? For example, like when the news, like some of the bodies found out that it was a positive test and they had failed it earlier than when it came out, when the Daily Mail released it. Do you think it should have been pulled earlier? Maybe it could have saved some of the undercards.
I think it should have been. It saved a lot of messing about for the for the undercard and stuff like that. And I think that's why a lot of people are a little bit, listen, these things happen in boxing. It's happened before and it won't happen again, but when they could have known earlier, not spent a fortune on a training camp, do you know what I mean? And not spent a fortune on booking flights or train tickets or hotels and stuff like that. There's a bigger backlash that goes on to it. Just it's all right, but yeah, they should have done it, and I think that's what most boxers were upset when they found out what they knew weeks ago. And I think, the people that need to have got to hold their hands up and say, yeah, we could have handled it better.
Now that you've been a fighter, you're managing trainers, you're a trainer, and you're a father of a fighter as well. Do you see the different sides and the different opinions that people have on Conor Benn and how the positive tests could have come about? Like, should they know 100% what goes into their body, or now that they have bigger teams, do you think it's possible that sometimes they don't always know? Well,
it's bigger. It's tricky these days because there's so many different things and substances and that go into. If you're a fighter, and there's a certain protein shake or there's a certain recovery shake or a certain protein bar and that, you've got to look in it, you know what I mean, and look at it. And even if you've got a nutritionist that says, "Oh, take this," I think you've got to be professional. That if anything is in it, it's going to come back on you, not the person who's telling you to take it. So the book will always stop with you. So I think you've got to check everything. But I can see how sometimes the odd times it's easily done because there's that many different things nowadays in food and everything like that. And Conor, he failed the test, but I mean, I was going to say he's innocent until proven guilty. Obviously, he's guilty. He's failed the test. But I mean, if he's turned around and say it's not in him, you know what I mean? He's got to, got to give him the chance to try and prove it and clear his name, and hopefully he can clear his name.
Social media plays a big part in this kind of thing and this kind of topic, but it also can be good in a way that promoters and fighters can promote themselves, and fighters don't have to go and physically sell tickets like they used to. Do you think social media is a good thing now or a bad thing?
It has its goods and it has its bads, doesn't it? Social media, I mean, there's people that have been so depressed at some of the comments that, it can be quite ruthless, can't it? You know what I mean? Campbell had a bad performance once and he got absolutely destroyed on social media, and it took Campbell a long time to get over it and to get his head around the facts. It doesn't really matter, it's the only, me as his manager and Matthew as his trainer and Eddie as his promoter, those are the only people you need to worry about, son. It's not these on there. But I mean, it's hard to tell a youngster that because it's the world we live in now. So it has its good things and it has its bad things, yeah.
Yeah. So we saw Anthony Joshua after his fight against Usyk. He sort of had that outburst in the ring. What do you make of that, and where do you think he can go next?
I think he's the people in his corner want to rocket up the backside. To be honest with you, you know what I mean. You know, your job as a trainer is not just the minute the final bell goes, that's your job done. Obviously, he didn't take the decision, kindly. He was going up to the opposite corner and not shaking the hand, but giving the fist a little bit too heavy for my liking. Someone in that corner should have turned around and said, "Oh, AJ's losing it here," because right, your emotions are all over the show in a fight of that magnitude. You've just got beat. I get it, and it should have been someone who put an arm around him and say, "AJ, come on, mate, let's get out of the ring here. I can see you're not too good." But no, they allowed it to happen. They allowed him to chuck the belts out of the ring. They allowed him to get the microphone and like that. What was his corner doing when they saw him with the microphone just going on? I thought they should never be in anyone's corner again. That lot. Shocking behaviour, shocking corner work. Not everyone's having a pop at AJ. The AJ could have been saved from all that stuff by his team, and it's all about having the good team around me. That's why pretty much I had the same team my whole career. Nobody knows you better than the people that have been with you your whole life, and then they obviously come over from America, and I think I've got a rough idea why they came over, but I think they could have done a lot better for AJ in the corner. I think that could have been stopped. If I'd have been in the corner, that would never have happened. Because you could see him losing it, and he needed an arm round him. "Come on, mate, let's get back to the corner here." And they just stood there and watched it. And I was in Tenerife watching it. I felt like dragging the TV off the wall. Mad. But anyway.
Where do you think he can go next in terms of his fights?
Well, he's lost his last 2 fights, which is which is no disgrace to lose to Usyk twice. So in many ways, he's got nothing to lose now if you look at it from that, and he can go into any fight and throw everything everything at it. To be honest with you, listen, his big box office, he's showed that he's got a lot more to give. It was better than the first performance. Do you know what I mean? And there's still a lot of big, good heavyweight fights out there for him to get involved in, so hopefully he'll find one,
Tyson Fury and Chisora 3, is that something you're looking forward to watching?
I thought Derek would be hung his gloves up by now, to be honest with you. He's had a great career. I love Derek with all my heart. Tyson, we wanted him to fight AJ, didn't we? But it's not happening now, which is heartbreaking. But Tyson can't be hanging around. His career's got to carry on, so he's giving Derek another good payday, and it'll certainly be entertaining. And I don't know, it might have been the best fight out there for Tyson that was available, but it's one we'll tune in for again, yeah.
So where can we watch your fight, and are tickets still available?
Yeah, I'm very proud to say that the tickets are still available, but very proud to say that all the fans can see it on Sky Sports now, November 12th. It was initially on the July 2nd show. It was going to be on a pay-per-view channel, and the ticket prices were considerably bigger, because obviously it was an entertainment type of show, It was my exhibition, and we had I think we had Snoop Dogg on and someone else on and something else on, so that's why the prices of the tickets were up. But the prices of the tickets now for the November 12th one have actually been reduced, because obviously, it's the same venue with 2 different promotions on the show. We're sharing the venue with Boxer, so they've got their show on, and then we've got our show on now, and because we've not had to have live acts on and and stuff like that, the prices of the ticket has come down. And I know, because of the cost of living these days and the prices of everything, and that meant a big thing to me. You know what I mean? That the ticket prices are reasonable, and also the fact that it's gone on Sky Sports rather than a pay-per-view channel means that if you can't afford a ticket or you can't afford pay-per-view, you're still going to get a better chance of all the fight fans seeing it, because it's on Sky Sports for free. Do you know what I mean? So that made a big thing. As the fans mean a lot to me, that made a really, really big thing to me. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much.